Alright, so next in line for the arms race we have the Theseus. I think it's Theseus. But anyways, this is a plasma emitter, I believe it is. It does energy damage. I believe they're referred to as plasma emitters, but shoots energy bolts, and if you hit an opponent with a full salvo of energy bolts, up to 3 nearby opponents will get hit by a lightning bolt from the Theseus. Now, this is an excellent weapon for farming in PvE, which is one of the reasons I made this build. Well, actually, it's why I made this particular build. I tried a few variations of builds, specifically trying out different cabins. Cockpit didn't work because it required me to run around too fast, and my driving is not all that good. Omnibox worked fairly alright, but then I decided to try out the Photon for the overheating, and it makes it a lot more useful against bosses and whatnot. Especially against those structural parts that have high resistance to energy weapons. Where are they? Do I have them equipped? Oh, yeah. Parts like this, which have high resistance to thermal and energy. They don't overheat as quickly, but the added bit of damage from the overheating helps. And then also hitting the fuel barrels on the bosses, the overheating helps drastically with that. So, because this build is designed for PvE, I don't have typical modules for a PvP build. As you can see, I've got this, which increases my fire rate by a lot for a period. And then Ampere, so that I can run all 4 of these, because the Photon only has 11 energy. I have legs. I only have one set of the legs that can dash right now. I'm slowly working my way to getting a full set of at least 4 of them. Ideally, I'd like to have like 6, but even maybe 8, but for now, I only have 2. But it's a slight bit of mobility. However, so this build was made for PvE, but it, however, works fairly alright in PvP, surprisingly, despite not having stealth or anything really that you would typically find in PvE. I guess primarily stealth, or this. The Daze or the stealth module are the 2 most common ones I would see in PvE. Wouldn't be able to fit either of those anyways, these 2. I suppose in lower tiers you might see the Oculus, but this build is at 9,000, almost 9,300 power score, so you're up against higher tier opponents. I have this mount because whilst mine isn't very highly leveled, the fire rate does affect the Photons, or not the Photons, the Theseus. Example, let me shoot at this guy until my perk is almost charged. There we go. It's a barely perceptible difference because, well, my pilot isn't very highly leveled, and as such, his fire rate boost is active rate of fire increases by 22.4%. I feel like you would notice it more if it was that much. Let me see something. Just real quick. Weapon. Aspect. Let's test this out. This might take a minute because I only have 1 aspect. Okay, yeah, you really don't notice that. Oh, no. Kind of difficult to tell the difference. Alright. Whoops. So, I'm going to take this build into PvE, or PvP, and we shall see how it does. Now, I don't know how well we're going to do, because whilst I've run this build before in PvP, fairly alright, it is evening, at least for me, and there tends to be a lot more players on now at these times. And some of them are good. Oof. Well, there's my module gone. No, we're not seeing that this match. Nope. Not risking that. Dash this way. And there's that guy up there. Somebody's in stealth. It's probably the guy who was up here. Nice, my teammate guys. Turret. You're overheated, and fire. Ow. That did absolutely nothing. Was that a fire from a, was that a salvo from a teammate? The weapon doesn't have as fast a fire rate as it would if I was running cockpit, but it's still got a decent fire rate. Let's see if we can go and intercept this guy. Oh, hi. Nice. That went extremely well. Even with my module missing. I think it was primarily due to this guy. 2 kills, 1 assist. Not bad at all. Alrighty. Next match. Alrighty. Here we go. Ooh. He's got the new autocannon. I don't have those yet. Don't even have the blueprint unlocked. They don't know what I'm doing there. They're way too far away for me to hit. And I probably should stay with my team. Primarily because this thing does not have the most armor. I believe it's got around 10,000 durability, despite everything. But it's not going to last all that long against some of these guys. I need to at least stay in an area where I can quickly retreat if my legs get damaged. Is that an opponent? I can't. No, that's my teammate. Oh, dang it. One weapon's already down. Oh. I do not want to risk that. He doesn't want to risk my teammate either. Dang it, too far. Oh well. Even with losing 2 weapons, that was still pretty good. Huh. Oh, the nail guns didn't get it on the leaderboard as far as I can tell. That's unfortunate for him. He did pretty decent picking off 2 of my weapons. I suppose if that's all he did through the match, though, that might be the reason why he didn't get on the leaderboard. Maybe he didn't manage to get much action besides that. Alright, next match. Scorched Highway. Ooh, that would be fun to pick weapons off of. Ooh, I think he also has Theseus. No thanks. That's the flamethrower build from the previous match. Only he's on the enemy team this time. What the hell am I stuck on? Oh, I'm stuck on everything. Oh, there's an opponent. Don't care to risk that. Here's the flamethrower guy. Well, that's a mistake. Okay, that's good to know. So these guys can shoot out the extra sparks. That was... Okay. Well, that took out most of my wheels, but... Okay. That was a bit chaotic. Okay, so good to know. The Theseus can fire... The lightning bolts that the Theseus fires, they can hit nearby, destructibles like turrets, landmines, and apparently the peg missiles from the nest, the falling syringes that the nest shoots. That is very good to know. I'm not surprised about the... I already knew about the turrets. I'm assuming about the landmines, because if it can hit the nest missiles, then it probably can hit the landmines as well. Of course, that requires you to hit an entire salvo, so you need to be shooting at an opponent who's amidst the landmines in order for that to work, so that's a bit situational, I suppose. Well, anyways, next match. Alrighty. Oops. That's a bot, but still. What's that guy running? Power drills? Looks like it. Or whatever the other one is that looks similar. Oh, hi. The hell? I most certainly wasn't looking at the map, but... I think I chose a bad place to do that. Yeah. Got him overheated. There's somebody over here in stealth. Oh. Well, that was a wasted ability. I suppose the extra damage wasn't wasted, but... leaderboard positions at the end of the match are rather irrelevant. Oh, it does help with my damage overall for the task though, so that's actually not bad at all. And the photon, that's the overheating effect, so Yeah. It makes this build a fairly decent support as well. I'll do one more match. But I may have to cut it out if I don't have enough space in my storage when I piece them all together into the full video. So, we'll see. Alrighty. Let's see how this goes. Why does my photon cabin have a 2 on it? I wonder how the perk was the perk must have been changed. It does still do overheating, but there must be something new to it for that. For it to have that too. Well, didn't win that, but did hit all my shots. Whoop. Nice. Oh dear. I might have to give me some of those. Cool. Anyways, this has been that was my overview of the Theseus. Or, well, not really an overview of the Theseus, but just a build that I made with using the Theseus for the, wasn't even for the event, but I realized works for the event. The, arms race. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed.